We're here this morning, we're talking about there were some frogs in Egypt there when the Jewish people were there, and God had sent Moses to set the people free and to send them out. And so Moses had gone to Pharaoh, the leader of the land, and said, I let the children of Israel go so they can go to the wilderness and serve God and worship Him. And Pharaoh said, no, I'm not going to let them go. And so there were some plagues, different things happened. The river first turned to blood, and Pharaoh didn't listen to the command that Moses made, that God had given him. So then his heart became hardened, and so Moses said to Pharaoh again, let my people go. We need to go 3 days journey into the wilderness. But if you don't let them go, then the whole land's going to be covered with frogs. You can see we have some frogs here made out of balloons. So Moses told Pharaoh what was going to happen. You see, God always reveals His plan to man. He tells us what to expect if we obey Him, and He tells us what to expect if we don't listen to Him. He tells us what's going to happen. We know that there's going to be many plagues in the world again, because before Jesus Christ comes. But at this time here, God had told Moses to tell Pharaoh, if you don't let my people go to worship me, the land's going to be covered with frogs. And so what happened is Pharaoh said no. And so there were frogs in their houses, frogs in the street, frogs on their tables. Everywhere the land was covered with frogs, but not where the Jewish people were. Only where all the Egyptians lived, it was covered with frogs. And then, finally Pharaoh says, okay, I'll let him go. But he says, just rid the land of the frogs. And so the frogs began to die, and they piled them up, and they stank everywhere they were. That's what the Bible tells us. And then, after the land had been rid of the frogs, Pharaoh's heart became hard again. But you know what? Pharaoh suffered many things because he wouldn't listen to the command that was given to him, that was shared with him from Moses, that God had told him. So it's important to obey God and His commands. Amen.